Ladies and gents, welcome to some arena. This is a 9-villager start tournament, so they've got quite a few villagers going already. But we are here, and it's time for Masters of Arena 7 quarterfinal number 1 between two players who are very similar to each other and will know each other very well. They are two players who played together on the Amigos team, and both of these two are very capable players on more open maps. You've seen Valas and Barles make some deep runs, making the top 16 over the last 2 or 3 years. But they do also specialize in the closed maps. So it's really unique. And honestly, like, if these names were hidden, I wouldn't be able to really tell you who was who. You know, they're so similar in how they play. The map is Arena. We had a big old Civ draft, and the thing I've liked about this tournament Civ draft is there are a lot of bans ahead of the picks, and they're just random bans. So we just see different matchups every series, which I think is really good. So we've got the Franks for Valas here, and then Barles is playing as the Goths. And yeah, Valas is not Velez. They're two Finnish players with very similar names, but that's not who we're talking about. Velez is waiting in another quarter. But yeah, like, as any low-elo legend knows, Goths could be really terrifying against any civilization if they get to good economy, and it is Arena. So I'll be curious to see how Valas plays this. The typical Franks play, because Frankish economy is really strong and their options are really good, is to just go for light cav, control the middle to get relics, and then boom up towards imp. But there might be a world where Valas wants to apply a little bit more aggression. But we might see throwing axemen in this game. It's going to be either throwing axemen or hand cannons, I think, that Valas is going to have to consider to counter the Goth infantry. Bear with me here. I forgot my image. There we go. Now we know it's Masters of Arena 7. Perfect. Yeah, and Goths received an eco bonus, right? Like a couple months ago in that one patch. And I've been saying for years, like, if you give Goths an eco bonus, they could kind of teeter over the edge a little bit. But the fact that the hunt now lasts longer just gives them more flexibility and economy to do some different things. So I think Barles will probably opt for some level of map control here, because what you don't want to do is just drop 3 town centers and just try and boom, because Valas will then pressure you with siege. So you have to have some level of map control, but ultimately the economy is really important. And not really a good map gen for Barles, honestly. These golds being forward if he does get pressured. I think against archers, having the stone in the back is nice, because then you can go for the defensive castle, but you're not going to be up against archers here with Franks, so not the best map gen I've ever seen. Are there Romans in the tournament? No, this is played in the previous patch. And I have tried out Romans a little bit. I mainly played against them, actually, so I didn't play them in ranked, but I played them against them in ranked twice. And in both games, I just felt like the Roman economy was super, super strong. Like the 5% bonus that they have, where everything's 5% more efficient, just felt so good. I know their options struggle a little bit, but yeah, I guess we'll have to see. It's decision time for us right now on Titans League, and if we are going to allow Romans in that. So we haven't made no official decision on that yet. But yes, the devs just did allow Romans in ranked after that DLC being out for like 2 months. And when that patch came out 2 days ago, the decision was then made to stay on the same balance that they had been doing in this tournament. So we have backdated our game in order to cast this here today. And that also means that when I update my game again, that all my hotkeys are going to be gone. Or so I've heard, which people are very annoyed with. So I've saved my hotkey files, and I'm hoping that that's going to be a simple switch for me. Because we've got 4 days in a row of casting this tournament. And the flip-flopping back and forth can be a little rough at times, but what a tough life I live. I always remember when I get annoyed by these things, I'm changing patches of a video game. I've got it good. We're fine. We're fine. And we have a pause. How much do you want to bet? It's a hotkey issue. How much do you want to bet? Because our hotkeys, I think I mean, they probably would have heard this already, but it is the first series of the day.
Yes.
Sec, one hot is off. Boom, baby! Yeah, there we go. When this hits YouTube later, please compliment me. I knew. I brought up the hotkey thing not to complain, but because there's relevancy. So, yeah, he had to... I guess it was his barracks hotkey. Dude, that's a bad sign. I'm just saying. That's a bad sign for Barles. Most likely, all of his hotkeys were removed, and then he went through having to add them manually because it wipes clean your hotkey folder. So there's going to be something. I think. Okay, let's try and guess how many pauses we have in this game for hotkey issues. See, the thing is, he's Goths. So, and I really like the fact he's adding Spearmen for the middle because you know the opponent's probably going to consider Scouts. And you have cheap Spearmen with Goths. I think that's wonderful. But you're probably only going to be making, like, infantry and maybe just gunpowder stuff later. So we're not going to see, like, archers, really. I'm just going to go, I'm going to go with a moderate prediction. I'm going to say we have one more pause for a hotkey. Just one. Just simply due to the fact he's playing Goths. But if you stick with me and we watch future games, I think there'll be another one. I obviously don't hope there are. As always, I'm sure you guys know this, but, you know, we're talking through some different things here. We have plenty of time to chill on Arena, so you're going to have to cut me some slack on the deviating from talking about the game from time to time. So you have the starting scout, which is very important for Valas. He drops the monastery. He also drops this town center. I wonder if he deletes this mill later. This mill is almost blocking farms. It's a good TC, don't get me wrong, because you want your second TC to be on a wood line, ideally. And even better, a wood and a gold. But, wow, double monastery from Valas here. Okay, so Valas' approach is quite good, actually, against just spearmen. So, basically, if you go for scouts, scouts have a bonus against monks. They're fast units, and they kill monks very quickly, right? Spearmen don't have any bonus damage against monks. They tickle the monks, right? And the monks can withstand a good tickle. So basically it's a slow unit that can be easily converted and it can't kill monks. So if you just add more monks, you just end up converting these spearmen, and that's the idea. Now that does delay your economy though. And there's a real concern when up against the Goths that even if you get those relics, that they're going to have the economy to overwhelm you and spam that cheap infantry. So in general, against the Spearman play, I like the double monastery. I'm honestly not sure I'm the biggest fan of it against the Goths. Like, I think economy is still going to be your priority. But we'll see. Yep, see two monks here. And, like, you can't engage against this now. You just cannot get close to these things. If you choose to do so, you will lose 2 units. Like, that should be 2 spearmen dead. Or two spearmen converted. And okay, the spearmen have been converted. Notice the monks here. Look at the monks withstand the attack for the most part. Look at the blocking there from Barles as well. But this monk's just healing the other one. This is the tickling I was talking about. So, more monks is actually the perfect solution here from Valas. Very well played. And he shouldn't lose a monk here, because after the monks convert, they should be able to heal. And then here, Valas killed the scout, and he also saves his other scouts. Okay, so the rest of the relics should now be for Valas. Now, here's my thing. If you're really concerned about the Goths, you've just converted their spears. You know that they're probably going to try and boom. Do you go for a siege workshop? This has been the perfect start for Valas in terms of the control over this game. It was a really good decision. I would like to see a forward siege workshop because, you know, all we're really going to see from Barles is maybe 1 or 2 more attempts to get a relic. But it's unlikely that will ever happen. This one's pretty far away and coming in. This one's coming in. This one's coming in. And we're going to have TC number 3 now for Valas. He doesn't want to delay that much further. So, a big theme here, guys. And my apologies for those that wanted me to cover more of Masters of Arena. I did cover a decent amount of it, but I didn't cover as much as maybe some Arena lovers would have liked. But in the games we have seen, the games I've watched that I wasn't casting, there's a big theme of early imp pushes. And it feels like a castle here could be huge for Valas, right? Forward castle, trebuchets. Just all about imp siege timings. Now, the thing is, against the Goths, when they don't really need their castles, because they pretty much just use their castles for their unique text, they don't really rely on the castles for anything else. I feel like forward castles could possibly be an overextension. I think you might want to opt for castles that are very safe with the Franks, especially, like a castle here and a castle here. Is it just me, or was that really poor micro from Barles? In what way? In what way could he have microed it better? I know it looked really bad, but he just got completely countered. Spearmen can't kill monks. If you have that many monks, the spearmen get converted every time. You could argue the better decision for him would have been to not engage there in the first place. But I think that it was not poor micro because there's no way he gets a better result there. Monks out-heal a spearman's damage against another monk. And thus far, Valas has played this so nice. He's going to be annoying and try and convert a villager. These monks are standing and looking at each other over a wall. And this is a nice amount of pressure. Now, Barles saw this with his monk, so he knows it's coming. And he's looking to defend. Now, if he can just build up towards a castle to defend his golds, I'm sure he'll be fine. And eventually, we're going to see... eventually we might consider something like pikemen. And Franks have a great answer to that in the throwing axemen. So already you see Valis is on stone. Really like the timing here. Resources collected in this game is looking very good for Valis. He's got the relic gold obviously helping a lot. And my apologies. I just missed. Hold on a second. Did he kill his own monk? Okay. So, that's kind of embarrassing. Valis tried to kill his opponent's monk and instead killed his own monk. We picked the wrong old man to shoot after there, buddy. Joe, the relic count is at the bottom left of your screen, my friend. It's always been here. So you can see it's 4-1 on relics. I don't think either civ gets redemption, so monks can't convert the siege. Monks aren't hugely useful, I suppose. I mean, okay, they are useful, but like... just to convert standard units that may eventually engage here. Barles hops out of his gate. And he's got to be concerned there could be a follow-up of some kind. So he needs to get this castle down. He's got to drop off the stone. That's annoying. He just dropped it off. He drops off again. Now, I mean, timing is so important here. He might delete this house and send more vills here so we can get more building. Because this could be an issue. That's what I would do, right? I would have deleted my house, and then I would bring in a couple more vills. But ultimately, he feels like the timing is going to be just right. That house is blocking, man. That house is the bane of your existence right now. He's still going to be fine. But look at the imp timing for Valis. Oh, man, that's a beautiful attack ground there as well. That outpost, very, very helpful. Valis knows that castle's there. And okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Okay, so you see that the Goths are making a castle, right? Not just the Goths, sorry. You see Barles has made a castle here. You've got 4 relics, your cheap castles. Every other matchup, you are going to see Valis come forward, and he's going to castle to try and win the Treb War and go for something like Bombard Cannons. Okay? So he would go castle here, university to research chemistry, which he has. And we would just see, like, hand cannon, bombard cannon, Trebs. Do you want to do that against the Goths? It could be seen as risky. But again, I think going into hand cannons is actually so much better than going into axemen because of how much time the axemen take. I would like axemen more if you built up for it in your long term. I'm a little disappointed because I love axemen. I don't know about you guys, but... we are going to see the majority of games turn into just this. This is like kind of been every game in Masters of Arena. Not every game, of course. There have been some crazy exceptions. Not sure how many of my viewers saw it, but there was just such a ridiculous arena game between Viper and ACCM this past week. So, for perspective, okay? So, it was a 3-hour game. That's right, 3 hours. Viper had all relics, but he lost. He was Japanese. Unfortunately, even having 5 relics with Japanese, not enough. He just couldn't kill skirmishers and couldn't kill hussars. Anyways, so a 3-hour game as we watch the siege engagements and, you know, monks go down on either side. ACCM wins that game. And I had said, I was like, this would be so sad, but it kind of feels like ACCM is probably going to win this game, this 3-hour slog, and lose the series. And it was even worse than what I had said. I thought he would, like, lose 3-1 because it's Viper on Arena, right? ACCM won the next one, so he went up 2-0, and then Viper came back to win 3-2. It was like a 5-hour series. I feel so bad for ACCM. We do not have the archer ranges yet for Valas. Like, ideally, he would have 3 or 4 ranges already, so he could make the hand cannons. He's working on it, but he's only going to have 2. And right now, he's using his trebs to go after the castle. But we have Anarchy being researched. This is what I mean about the Goths, right? So once you research Anarchy, Perfusion obviously is something you would want as well for the faster production of infantry. But once Anarchy's in, you can let this castle go down. That's not a problem for you. Goths do also get bombard cannons, so Barles got chemistry, so he's going to try and do that. And it looks like he's going to try hand cannons as well. But Valas is the better economy. It's even on Vil count, but if you look at the res collected, he has collected more. It's slight, but he still has. And this double castle play has just been really good for him. It doesn't even lose his Mangonel there. Convert to Huskarl, not bad. And bomber cannon's on the way, and the bomber cannon's going to try and take this Treb out, I imagine. I think the fact that these two play very similarly to each other is maybe not going to lead to this having like as many epic games as people are going to be hoping for. We're going to see a lot of this stuff. Look at that from Valas. That's so clean, dude. It's so good. Like just a couple gates there, so the castle fire helps, and then he's got an axeman and some hand cannons there, and then the Treb for Barles has to back away. So what would happen for me is I would try and go forward push on the Goths. I wouldn't be I wouldn't have as much quality to be able to get the job done. And then the Goths would somehow get like 50 Huskarls and overrun me because I don't have a lot more than just this position. That's what would happen to me. Love the fact we're seeing Axeman though. Axeman hype. He's actually, I guess now that he feels like his castles are going to stay up, now he tries to go for the throwing Axeman. That's really smart. So Elite Huskarl Angry Hobbit is actually not horrible versus hand cannons. And there are going to be some people out there that are like, what are you talking about? Hand cannons shred infantry. And they do. But an Elite Huskarl with full upgrades, I think they 3 shots a hand cannon. And they're really fast, right? And they produce fast as well. And it's cheap for the Goths. This is really good work from Barles. Trying to do something with these things. These are far from Elite Huskarls. He doesn't have a castle. So it feels like it's simply just going to be hand cannons. Which, interestingly enough, actually kind of decent against the Axemen. So Valas might need to go for something else. But, yeah, I mean, this has just been so good from Valas the whole way through. He's dominated Barles here in the first game. He's made no mistakes. The double monastery decision against the Spearman was perfect. The timing with Imp and the castle position and the military he's made has been perfect. He will see his opponents making hand cannons now. But, you know, he's got time to adapt and do anything he wants. He's going to get Bearded Axe now. This is good from Barles, though, looping around to that gold. I'll see Valas deal with that. But, like, look at all the stone you could still mine if you're Valas, too. The hand cannons is the way back for Barles. Actually got a barracks here, too, so we could maybe start to send in some units to raid those areas. Even architecture now coming in for Valas. Just making sure those castles have even more HP. It's not a tech you see every day, as we see Elite throwing Axeman now. Second question, how does a GOTS player deal with Axeman? So, it's very tricky. The best thing you can do with GOTS, in general, against Franks, is kind of raid with your infantry. Like, force their very slow Axemen to chase you to the sides. Then if they're going stable units, obviously, which are a bit faster, then you have Hal. But on Arena, and this is Arena in general, as much as I love it, there's less possibilities, right? You're mainly looking... Oh, big shots. You know, what does this Civ have versus what does the other Civ have? You can't... There's no hills to control. Dark Age and Feudal Age don't really matter. Like, there's just less flexibility. So it is very difficult. And the answer, I would say, on Arena would be try and hold more map control to prevent this from happening. That would be my advice. But, I mean, that's just not easy. And then it's like, well, Franks have better economy, so if you try and hold map control, then they're ahead of you in economy, and they're going to push you back anyways. So, first game of this series. It doesn't seem like Valas could ever be broken. But he's taking his time here. He spotted this, so great awareness, so he drops a castle there. So Barles hasn't been able to get anything going. And the GG's finally called. Barles, I think, is sitting here for a while like, are you going to freaking kill me, dude? But he realizes Valas is just playing far too safe, and Valas will eventually kill him. I mean, Valas could go Paladin here if he wants to. He could do so many different things. So yeah, you know, just so clean for Valas. And again, I think two big moments in this game. First off, he saw the Spearman play and going double Monastery. A lot of players don't do that. Only the experienced Arena players do it. It was actually the perfect play. That initial engagement from Barles. What else is he going to try and do? What was it, like 15 minutes? When was this? Here. Like, if you just have Spearmen against Scouts, smart players will simply do this. Because there is no possible way to kill those monks. And it was the healing, right? Anytime a monk starts to get attacked, he heals. Right? So, you know, lower ranked players would probably lose a couple monks because they're not healing. And then more monks show up, and then the spears get converted. And again, look, I'm going to heal you now. He didn't lose a single monk there. And then he quickly got the relics. The thing about the relic situation in this game is he got the relics, but he only made like 5 monks. So the relics paid off for themselves really quickly. Whereas if you have an extended relic war, players might make upwards of 10 monks and, you know, only end up with 3 relics. So that was as clean as it gets. We'll have more games, obviously. And Barles still holding on to some really good civilizations. He just wanted to start off the series with the Goths. All right, ladies and gents, sorry for speeding up through here. I had an issue trying to find the game. Don't worry, though. We're just missing Dark Age. We've got Barles playing as the Incas in the red. And then Valas as the Sicilians in the blue. Incas a bit higher up on the picks for Barles. Valas, after winning the first game, goes for a lesser pick. Would be huge for him to win this one. Because then he's got a couple of his strongest picks remaining. And obviously, he would just need 1 win from the remaining 3 games. I like the Incas a lot. And I think the Incas, they kind of have an answer to everything. But the one thing you might need to be concerned about is the Sicilian eco if this goes late. The Sicilians building their town centers faster. And then their farms having more wood on them long-term after farm upgrades. Those are things that start to feel very strong late Castle Age, early Imp. So, with all that being said, I think it's going to be another game where late Castle Age, early Imp control matters, and we could see forward push. Notably, neither of these civilizations get Bombard Cannon. And in my opinion, the games that have been the best in Masters Arena have been with the civilizations that do not get Bombard Cannon. Because if you get Bombard Cannon, we're just seeing map control, forward castle, trebs, Bombard Cannons. If you don't get Bombard Cannon, you see some other ridiculous things. So I'm already kind of feeling like we might see a whole bunch of different units here. We might see the Sergeants from Sicilians. We might see some Siege incorporated from them. Definitely going to see some Cav. We see the stable now for Valas. And, you know, for the Incas, I mean, probably not Eagles. Because that's an anti-archer thing. And I think Sicilians probably aren't going to go archers here. But we could see the Slinger. We could see the really good monks. And we could eventually see the Kameyuk, but that would take quite a bit of eco, so. Yeah, so we've got 7 on gold, actually, for Barles, not 6. And he's going to go Eagles for some support of his monks. It could end up being Spears, but the fact that he has so much on gold tells me... Hold on a second. I could be using the extra gold to buy and sell things at the market, honestly. He'll probably do both. Okay, double barracks. Okay, never mind. So it'll likely be 2 barracks, 1 monastery for map control. I'm not a very... A lot of this comes down to maybe my comfort level, but I don't think this suits the meta too much these days. So I'll be curious to see how Barles does this, because I think that just 1 stable light cav is so much better in your economy. You're not investing as much wood into buildings. And then in this case, like we said, these farms now after Horsecollar have tons of food. You don't feel it now, but you feel it when farms would typically expire, which will be, you know, later on in this game. But if Valas could get some good early engagements, I could see 5 or 6 light cav picking off individual eagles and spears. But obviously, if the monks, eagles, and spears are all together, then they could take good engagements against those light cav. The difference is that Valas gets to make the decision on when to fight. Little woo-woo-woo here for Barles, which he's probably annoyed by. Also, Sicilians take less damage, less bonus damage. I think it's 33% less bonus damage, which again is nice against something like spears. I think eagles actually do like some type of bonus damage against the scout line, which is not something that you guys normally would think of, but I'm pretty sure there is something. It's like +2 or +3 against the scout line. There's got to be something. Anyways, light cav's on the way. Monastery's up for Valas. No surprises. Both players will want the monks. There's the monastery for Barles. We've just got the 5 cav chilling out. And we do not have the TCs yet, but remember, when the Sicilian player builds that TC, he builds it 50% faster. You should know this as a caster. I know that there is a bonus. I don't know the exact number. Like, I know it enough to know what's a good fight and what's a bad fight, so it's relevant knowledge, but I don't have the math memorized, you know? Light cav, because they have speed, go in there, kill the monk just like that. Just super easy. And, again, really liking Valas' position thus far in this game. There's more investment for Barles, as he does go for TC2. You obviously, you've spent gold to make these eagles and monks as well, right? Look how many farms we have. 16 farms. And you don't see it in the wood count now, but you will see it in the wood count later. And Valas just kind of waiting. He's like, okay, you going to come out there with your monks? If there was no bonus damage, this would be a good fight for the light cav. I do not believe it actually is because of the bonus damage. Because it's 7 attack for both, and it's more HP for the light cav. I guess you'd have to compare things like armor too. The armor's the same. But yeah, due to whatever that damage is, you still have a problem. Oh, the TCs are still 100% faster? Okay, so TCs are 100% faster, and the castle's 50? No, castle's... I thought they took that down as well. God, I'm so bad. I'm sorry. Anyways, good engagement here from Valas. He wants the pick off so that doesn't get healed up. And whoa, what was the pathing there? And wow, great find from Barles. Okay, so Barles starting to breathe a little bit. Kills that monk, which was wonderful. Killed the light cav as well. Now able to venture forward to maybe get these relics. These relics over here are going to be the most difficult relics to get. He didn't have a relic that was really close to him. Valas got one that I think was over here. So Valas is on 1 relic. Eagle gets found. And that monk's on the way back. At this point, there's a lot of army there for Barles. So I think you kind of got to give up 1 or 2 of them here if you're Valas. You obviously got to focus on your boom as well. Also, I see a lot of players, like Gamer Legion players, Doubt does this all the time. And I love Doubt, so it's kind of conflicted in this statement. But as the light cav gets converted, well, that guy might end up dying. We'll see. But anyways, a lot of players with Sicilians try and get the 2nd farm upgrade. And I just always think, why would you squeeze that in? You're getting almost 400 food to farm as is. Oh man, micro is going to be so difficult here. And that light cav survives. Monk tries to heal it up. And Monk's going to die. Light cav did receive some more HP though. So we've got 8 light cav on the field right now for Valas. Make it 7. It could be 6 soon if he loses one. It feels like the units are stopping. Are you seeing this? This was an issue for me, not on this patch, but the previous patch. Okay, so that actually makes sense because we had to backdate the game. It's like sometimes units just freeze. It's like they get their hooves stuck in the grass. But maybe it is intentional from Valas. It's kind of hard for me to know, but the way the units have moved have made it almost look a little unnatural for me. But yeah, like, anyways, players try and get that second farm upgrade, and they delay other aspects of their gameplay, like the light cav, for example. Look at the wood count now for Valas, right? This is the stage of the game where farms are normally expiring. Look how many farms he can now place because of that wood count. Just 1-to-1 on relics, by the way. Yeah, this is really good. I don't know if a 4th TC is very Valas style, but because we don't have bombard cannon timings possible, I could see it. Yep, and there it is. But like, if you have, if bombard cannons are available, it's all about getting a castle up on the front and going fast chemistry bombard cannons. But because it's gonna, there's no early potential to kill somebody, that additional eco does make some level of sense. Barles, though, might be saving up for a forward castle. Okay. Light cav gonna dive here to kill these monks. And the monks will die. It's just a matter of how many light cav die. And he doesn't lose a single one! They're so weak, though. Look at that line of units. Someone get a chakram over here. Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. And he can heal them up again. What a high-value play there. Just arena things. Look at that. That was epic. That's a nice save. It's all about value in Age of Empires 2, guys. Get as much value as you can from every unit. If he were to have lost 3 there, he would maybe have to make 3 more. It could change the whole game. We strategists, we appreciate things like this, okay? All the kids these days just want action. We like value. All right. 8-4 KD. Valas sitting on just 1 relic still. There's 2 relics right here. There's a castle going up here for Barles. Barles wants that fast imp timing. And we see more villagers shifting over to stone here for Valas. And without bomber cannon, means it will only be Trebs. And this is a very cautious castle for Barles. It wasn't in the guy's face. I don't think it was to protect the relics. I think it was just because he kind of felt like maybe it'd be too risky to go forward. I don't think Eagles would be the long term for Barles. And as much as I'd like to get excited about Cameox, and there goes Barles up to Imp, I don't think Cameox would be good either. I think he might make 2 or 3 of them. But ultimately, I think you have to open with Halb. But here's where it gets tricky. It's like if you open Halb, or you open any form of infantry, the opponent can go for First Crusade. And, you know, they're going to get all this free infantry out of their TCs. I would say go Imp in the back TC. I don't think there's a chance that you actually lose one of your TCs here, because the Trebs are going to come out kind of late. But I would definitely say just play it safe and go Imp in one of your back TCs if you're Valas. Like, have still moving around. Still looking for those monks. Monks can go into the castle, though, so I don't think this should work. Yeah, monk goes into the castle. That one will die. Oh! He's alive. He lives. He lives. Okay, that's kind of funny. 2 monks chilling in there with relics in their hands. And here comes another castle here from Barles. This is going to have some nice timing on it, and there go the monks. They're off to the races. I don't know. Do you build this castle? Because the monks are there. That's super annoying. Well, we're not seeing any blacksmith upgrades for Valas, and we're not seeing any blacksmith upgrades now for Barles. Barles is like, screw it. I love how annoying Valas was there. He was trying to delay the castle, and now the siege pops out. Oh, and Barles misclicks. He might not get this castle up on time. He wants this castle up now so he can make double trebs. Oh, and the Lyke have found villagers too. I think he tried to send more vills forward, and they came this way. Look at the economy for Valas right now. He kills another villager. You could actually just delete some of this wall and hop out and deny that. Obviously, then units can run in, though, so that's probably too risky. Very defensive castle for Valas. Is he going to go for a 5th TC? He's going for a 2nd blacksmith to start getting tons of upgrades. Dude, Valas has played insane here, guys. He really has played clean here, and I jinx him now. What is the army composition going to be for Barles? It's just going to be trebs. I think we see First Crusade. And if you're going to get First Crusade to go sergeants, you have to go for another TC. You get free sergeants out of a max of 5 TCs. But maybe he doesn't feel like he's in that big of a rush. Okay, there's the TC now. Let's look at resources collected this game. Just crazy differences. And also the savings for Sicilians, because they didn't have to reseed farms as frequently. So they've saved a lot of that wood instead of having to reinvest it. Valas really feels like he's going to be fine here, doesn't he? Because he doesn't even go for First Crusade right away. He actually goes for conscription. That's ridiculous. I think that's too much. I think he should have gone for First Crusade right away. I think he might regret this. He needs something to breathe because castles are being stacked. We do have Cameos for Barles. We'll see how the Cameos could perform against the sergeants. He probably wants fully upgraded sergeants before he does anything, but like, now you've lost one of these TCs. Maybe a little too relaxed here, my guy. And there's the First Crusade upgrade. But all new units will produce faster out of his buildings, but it's like conscription doesn't even affect the production out of the TCs. And now he's got to like try and get another TC completed before First Crusade completes. And, you know, we could possibly ask some questions here or there about Valas deciding to delay the First Crusade, but we also have to give Barles a lot of credit for applying pressure. He's made these decisions very difficult. So now it's 20 sergeants. They are not elite sergeant either. And we have the final armor upgrade coming in now for Barles, and I'm starting to like the position for Barles more and more. I honestly think after you hear the First Crusade, rah, after you hear that noise, you actually stop, you kind of stop pushing. You don't want to overextend, right? But you want to be sure, and I like this for Barles, he's actually walling up his opponent's gate. You want to be sure you don't take a bad fight. You've got 3 castles here. You could always fall back to that. So I would love to see more slingers. I think that's what he's going for. Something that helps against infantry. 3-2 on relics. One of the other relics must be somewhere else. There's only one in there. Oh, he has another monastery back here. Okay. Cameos looks so freaking cool, man. I love the cameo. And I love how Barles has responded here. Elite Sergeant's now on the way, but it's taken a lot of time. Now, these sergeants did scramble up some dungeons so they could produce more of their friends. These things have tons of armor, tons of attack. You definitely would have wanted elite before any engagement. Cameos only have 7 attack, but they do attack from range. There's a bunch of choke points here. There's the Castle Fire. Barles has Bodkin Arrow. Castle Fire doesn't help that much against sergeants, but still. And you really just need slingers here. Slingers destroy infantry. If you have slingers behind all this, and they're there, they're just not in the fight. I think you absolutely mop this up and maybe tie up this series. Yeah, where are the slingers? There are the slingers. They were in the castle. Surprise. Get slung. Yeah, get slung. This ain't a team game, but you're getting slung, fool. It's a good push here from Valas. He's close to taking out this castle. The skirmisher and sergeant combination is actually making some pretty decent progress. And look at the micro. The skirms are going in after those slingers. Military count's pretty much even, but the castle's going to go down. And the skirmisher play, you know, expecting the slingers was so well timed here. Yeah, I'm very impressed. Still could swing either way, though. I think the big thing here, though, is do you lose all your trebs if you're Barles, and can you recover from that? He's behind by 30 vills. And, like, here as well. Oh, my God. Valas saves that treb. Are you kidding? What? He actually saves that treb. Really could be microing down these as well if he's paying attention to it. Now, he is completely smushed in here. He loses a treb. And Barles and Valas both in different forms of recovery mode right now. But Barles is still, you know, he still has the middle control. And he's still right on top of Valas all the time. So I think after the dust has settled here, I think I prefer Barles' position. I also want to point out his eco. He's got 51 on food, guys. So really invested into that economy. And there were upgrades that he didn't have before that he could invest into now. I think the big thing for him, it was just the big, massive sergeants that was the issue. But 20 of those were free. Yeah, these cameos do nothing versus sergeant, though. Like, look at this. Is this a bug? Or are they just taking 1 damage a hit? I guess they're taking 1 damage a hit. Still. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, if they were elite cameo or if attack upgrades were researched, they'd be doing more. Sergeants have 7 melee armor, and these things are 7 plus 1, so they're doing 8 damage. And Barles is completely overextended. I think he's expecting cameos to do more there. He's like, not able to look at the damage output like we are and think about it. Like, a fully upgraded cameo does 8 plus 4 damage, right? So you're doing a lot more damage there, plus you have the slingers, which should be good. But the cameos are a gold unit that feels like a waste right now. And I think Valas could do this. He is producing out of these dungeons. He's got the trebs going onto the castle. I think 1 treb at a time is a little ambitious. You definitely want to have multiple. But this is some great micro from Valas here as he uses the skirms against the slingers. And Barles does snipe that treb, though, so that's worth it. Again, I think you just back up and you breathe for a second if you're Barles. You don't have to kill. You taking out that treb gives you time. Go to the blacksmith, maybe even make a second blacksmith, and just start catching up on upgrades. Like, there's that upgrade that he's getting for his range units. Chemistry is going to be helpful. This is really nice. The fact that he's got some stone there. I like the outposts on the sides. Okay, in case you lose this position, be ready and have another castle. That's really good. Where's the 5th relic? That's a very good point. Oh, no, it's here. It's here. Yeah, because it was 2 monasteries for Valas. He does have a monk, and the monk's just chilling behind the dome on the university. Okay, so Barles just built a castle, so he doesn't have a lot of stone to repair. And he's going to lose this castle, which is rather important. Valas sees this with his outpost, so he's going to raid that area, which is huge. Remember, Inca villagers do benefit from the infantry blacksmith upgrades, castle age, and onwards. So both players just prioritizing different areas right now, and now elite cameos coming in. So the cameos will do a lot more damage against the sergeants than they have been doing. A big sacrifice of skirms there just to kill some slingers. Probably worth it, though. And, like, the trebs taking out the donjon isn't necessarily bad, but donjons are the most expensive thing in the world. They're not cheap, though. Barles realizes he's been spotted. He has overchopped in his base, which is not something you really look for that frequently on Arena. So if sergeants get through there, that could be devastating, as Valas still has the greater economy in terms of vill number. But now cameos are they're going to do 1 damage? No, they're going to do 2 damage with 8 plus 1. Right? 7 armor? Yeah, 2 damage. Might be some other changes, but I have just been unimpressed with the cameo decision. And ultimately, he needed more upgrades in attack. The armor actually, typically with melee units, you see people go for armor first, but it actually would have been better to go for attack. Or just not make the cameos in general. I did say I don't think we'll see the cameos at some point in this game because of the sergeant. The sergeant's just really tough to stop. And sergeant's pretty good against archers too. And like the slingers, the unit you want is the Incas, but then the Sicilians are here with skirms, man. And Barles is really losing ground. He's going to get Andy and Sling, which means there's no minimum range on the skirms. I think they added another effect to it. I still don't think that's really going to change the fight all that much. And Andy and Sling will actually be denied anyways because the castle will fall. And 2 of the relics for Barles are still in the middle of this map. There's gold and there's stone now that Valas can move out and take. And we have arrow slits for Valas. What? Arrow slits. What a crazy tech to see. That would apply to his dungeons here. And he's going to make more of them. Didn't make sense when he saw these, did it? But he's going to make more of them in the middle. I freaking love it. Let's go, man. With 3 trebs ready to go, I really don't see how Barles stops this. Valas is simply playing out of his mind today. He has such good eco, and the Sicilians really do. And Sicilians are a solid arena civilization. They are not good and not preferred on open maps because what Sicilians need is time. This is still so exposed, but Barles, you've got to take that risk now and just hope you can take it. Look at the patience from Valas. He's now going to go for guilds. So he could sell tons of food to get more gold. And he's going to love life when he realizes the relics are in there, because there's always a chance that that could just be a monk. I just don't know what your army comp's going to be if you're Barles. What do you do here? I think you have to commit towards what you already are on. And try and make more cameos. Okay, Onager. Interesting. He's going to try something different. Because obviously if he continues to commit to something he's already working with, it might not work out. He's actually going to add walls here. Definitely deleted some walls at some point. Or maybe they all went down. I don't know. I don't recall him deleting walls, but that's a lot of walls to have lost. Valas is also going to prep some cav, which would obviously be perfect to snipe any siege. And this is just like the first game. Remember, Valas got that really good position in the first game? I mean, obviously, he deleted skirms! He just deleted skirms so he could get more sergeants. What a play. Valas has never mind? Did they pause? Maybe there was a pause. He definitely deleted skirms there, right? I don't exactly know what happened. But anyways, I think it makes sense if you want different types of units out. And having some cav out to snipe any potential onagers would be huge. But right when he gets a lead, Valas says, okay, let's make sure I have everything I need. Let's make sure we re-wall, take the stone, take the gold, send some units to look for this, added the stables, getting the upgrades, going for onager as well. He's really good player. It's going to be very difficult for Barles to win 3 straight against this guy. I did have Valas as my favorite today, but I was expecting it to be like a 3-1 or a 3-2 for Valas because the players are so similar. But we've seen reverse sweeps happen before, and this game ain't over yet. Barles is behind in relics, and he is behind in map control, and we think unit composition. But you never know. Barles had the awkward situation of trying to commit to his unique unit with castles in the middle when he was going for a Trebor. And when you go for the early in pushes, your economy's worse. Remember, he was up against 4 or 5 TCs. Sicilian economy is just going to be better anyways. Okay, Barles hoping to push back now. And Valas could do with losing some units here because he really wants to produce onagers. He actually could get siege onager. I'm pretty sure Sicilians get that. He has the resources to possibly tech it. Okay, he's going to lose a dungeon or two, but he's just going to shift over. This is the final castle for Barles. So if he doesn't have a castle, he can't make cameos. So he needs an engagement, and good luck. Now you're engaging up against a dungeon, which has arrow slits. You can't stop this, man. I think what we are seeing right now is why Barles went aggressive, though. Barles will have known the matchup because both these players do it well. And he will... I think he pressured like he did because he just feels like Sicilians are so much stronger. And maybe even just Valas with the Sicilians because they might practice together. Big onager shots from Valas there. Look how long it takes to take out a dungeon, right? That's just one. You just took out one of them. And now the Light Cav are going to go in and going to take your traps. And now Siege Onager's on the way. Like, no, this is over. Oh, there is another castle here, I guess, for Barles. But yeah, he's going to lose this. And the GG's called. Dang. So, yeah, I really think the final point I made there was key. I think Barles really tried to force the issue because he was terrified of the Sicilians and their economy. And he was close, but he just didn't quite have it. I'm not really sure what to suggest with the Incas, right? Because he went Slinger. The problem was his opponent had Skirm. And you don't want to make Eagles when the Sergeant's out there, because Sergeant's high armor and very good against Eagles. Kamiuk was probably his best play. The problem for him was lack of blacksmith upgrades. I think some of the early fights were 50-50. Like they were kind of trading evenly, but Barles was still with the castles. And I think if he had the attack upgrades, if he wasn't at 7+1 attack, but he was at 7+4, and he's doing like 3 or 4 damage a hit, then has the slingers, maybe the fight snowballs there. So, but he upgraded the slingers first. Like maybe you don't upgrade the slingers? I don't know. It's really tough. And people, it must be Inca fans, are really like, some of these comments are aggressively worded towards Barles. Someone says, that was terrible. Someone else said something along the same lines. I don't agree that it was a terrible situation. He had a really good push here. He ended up getting 3-2 relics. He had 3 castles stacked. He had momentum, but he's at the limit with res. I really wonder how this goes if he gets for like the first armor upgrade. Like just the feudal age one, but then goes for the attack upgrades next. Because typically, you go for the armor first on melee units. I mean, then he doesn't have as much armor when he's up against the sergeants, and the sergeants probably wreck them, but at least you're doing more damage to the sergeants? I don't know. Look, for anyone who's upset with him, I wouldn't you just look at his res. Like, as we look through here, he's always getting a blacksmith upgrade this whole time. Blacksmith is always working. He's always producing Kamiuks. He rarely is floating lots of resources. Maybe overqueued vills a little bit. But, I mean, you need villagers, so. I think it was just the timings were really tough for him. And then right when he's thinking, like, okay, I got my armor, I'm going to get attacked, then the fights start to go poorly. And then the push comes back. Sorry, it's not 1-1. It's 2-0. It was really good. And actually, we could look at the total resources collected. It was all Valas there with 89,000 resources collected. To be expected, obviously, right? Okay, so here we are, game 3. This is the #1 pick for Barles. He's got to start something here. He's playing as the Poles. It'd been 2 really good games. I know that people were disappointed that Barles couldn't do more with the Kamiuks in the previous game, but he was behind by 20, 30 villagers. And Valas is just so good under pressure like that, man. And Valas has gone for the Burmese. Get your wood upgrades for free each age, which is very nice. You get cheaper relic upgrades. Monastery upgrades, which is very nice. Strong monks, strong infantry. And they do have bombard cannon. And that's going to be the key. The Poles, they get some gold when they're mining stone. They have very cheap cav. They do have a good unit in the Oblak. I almost feel like we might see Arbalest from the Poles here in this game. Like, try and go against the Burmese because the Burmese don't have the strongest of skirms. But yeah, dream map here for Barles. If he gets pressured, he's got back gold, back stone, forward golds. Everything's forward for Valas except the berries. This is a bad map. So he's going to have to work with this situation, try and close this out. I'm hoping we don't see a sweep personally. I wanted to see more games, but we will have another quarterfinal later today. So, yeah, Ryan, I will be casting with the host John Slow on Saturday. I think we're doing the first semifinal, but we obviously don't know who that would be yet. But yeah, looking forward to cast with the guy. He's put in a lot of time into casting this event. And obviously, you know, the main reason it's happening as well. So he's a good guy. Like him a lot. Should be a high energy cast, that one. So the other quarterfinals. So we have Valas and Barles right now. Pato Vipers tomorrow. Beleza Ganji's tomorrow. Who am I forgetting? I'm missing one. Ganji beat Yo, by the way. Like, Ganji's also playing really good. He's another Amigos player. I am missing a quarterfinal. Who is our next quarterfinal? I don't want to look at my chat. I want to remember. Come on. Oh, Vinchester and Doubt. Oh, yes, I did cheat. I knew we were missing some big names. That should be an epic series. Could go either way, that one. I think for Vinchester, I didn't watch his games. But I think, like, overall, his timings are probably better than Doubt in terms of, like, the timing on chemistry, timing on bomber cannons, timings of the castles. But there are going to be instances where Doubt just doesn't die. Like, you know, these pushes we're seeing with the early bomber cannon trebs, Doubt can hold, kind of like Valas did in the previous game. Doubt's really good in those types of positions. Doubt loves to go for a big boom, and he loves to fight for map control in Castle Age. But he's not a player who likes to push in early Imperial Age. Bye, Ace Sean. Do we see any aggressive pushing here from Valas? I do not think so. I believe... Actually, hold on. This might be a crazy monk play. You see how he has Lumen Q? That tells us that he's going to leave his base, guys. Oh, this is going to be crazy clownery here. Oh, boy. And it'll be crazy clownery against Barles, who has a Civ that usually goes for scouts and then booms. Actually, you know what? I wonder how this build works. So, when the poles were first introduced, you got 50% of the gold when compared to the stone. So, if you collect 10 stone, you get 5 gold, right? Now it's like 25% or 33%. They're basically the same thing, okay? So, you can't just send 3 to stone and get the gold you need. So, what I think he's going to do is he's going to use a market, and he's going to sell 100 wood. And when you sell 100 wood, you get 70 gold. So, that math adds up for me. But with the market having to be up for this to work, will he also be able to afford the stable? Because the market stable's a little awkward. Also, then doesn't have a blacksmith if he wants to go for any blacksmith upgrades on its units, which isn't necessarily the worst, but just things to think about. Oh, dude, this is going to be... We're going to see triple monastery in the middle, right? It's gotta be. He didn't sell a stone, though, so I'm a little confused. Okay, second lumber camp. Might want a couple farms here in a second. He's probably just waiting for horse color before he makes any farms. He's scouting the middle. He knows where the relics are with the Burmese anyways, but still want to scout, and there goes the Vils. 6 on gold. This will be 2 monasteries, potentially a siege workshop. And then, where's the market? Market, does he sell the wood? He sold stone, actually. Okay, and that's fine. Yeah. So, overall, I like the build-up from Barles a lot better. The Polish economy is just simply too smooth to really doubt. But... it'll come down to if he's able to stop this. We have a barracks from Valas. The infantry for the Burmese do get +1 attack per age, so the spearman's going to be a bit pointier. He's not really able to afford 2 monasteries and this. What about just straight up siege workshop? Just go like pike siege and don't even go for relics. It's so uncommon. It almost feels like that's what he's going to do here. Like, he wouldn't build a monastery right next to his opponent's face, would he? Yep, he would. Okay, never mind. Double monastery it is. Here are the scouts for Barles. Looking to roam around. Sees the barracks and is like, okay. If finds his opponent's base. He wasn't scouting the middle of the map until now. He doesn't see the monasteries. Okay, now he sees one, and if you see one, you expect two, and now he knows. Okay. So, I think from here, you commit into tons of scouts, and you hope to... You don't even boom, right? Your one town center economy is already going to be better for you, because you're getting 10% of your farm's food every time you build it around a full work. I know you're up against Burmese spears, but I think you, like, add some siege in combination with light cav and hope for the best. This is really fast uptime here from Valas, who's shown how good he is with economy, but I'm looking forward to seeing how well-rounded he is here. And I'm surprised Barles engaged here. I'm really surprised he engaged here. He's going to kill a monk, and in the end, it actually wasn't too bad. That's pretty bad, actually. He might be a little bit on tilt at the moment with how this series has gone. Yeah, at some heavy losses for him. He lost, what, 3 scouts? He lost 2... Maybe 3 died, and then 1 got converted? And now a ram's coming out. Like, now you barely have army. And you don't normally want to add your own siege against a player who's going monks and has cheap redemption, but I think you want the light cav numbers in combination with siege. Could maybe fall back to a castle or guard tower or something if you're really concerned, but here goes Valas. What do you guys think about this, going after the wall instead of the gate? Thoughts? I know it takes longer, and every arena clown would probably tell me it's bad, but I would probably go for the gate, because it's harder for them to wall behind. Thank you for proving me right, Barles. Yeah, I would go for the gate, because then they got to make 3 walls. And now, like what? Okay, the gate is 1,000 more HP. Well, you know what is 1,000 HP? This freaking wall. Switch to the gate, bro. Go to the gate. I like the walls here from Valas. Keep in mind, he's not exactly booming here. Resources collected should be interesting. Resources collected polls are just way ahead. Oh, now he switches to the gate. Okay, well, proves my point. This is going to get interesting, though, because Barles knows that this is going to be really rough to engage against. Now he's going for the wall. Just make up your freaking mind. Anyways, getting a little tilted by this. Castle could be denied. Castle could be denied. It won't be denied, right? No. That's at 55%. Monks could do some trickery. At 70%. He doesn't have loom. Doesn't have loom. Barles, don't lose vills here. Loses 3 vills, which isn't the best. But in the end, it does stop the push, which is what he wants. And the spearmen are blocking the mangonel, so the mangonel is going to go down. The spears hop out of the ram. The light cav swoop in, and a lot of light cav have to die, but the push has been cleared. So, I'm going to tell you what we see from Valas. I'm not even going to look, okay? He's going to bring villagers forward. Well, no, he's going to buy a bunch of food, okay? The food purchase is going to begin any moment now. And then he's going to send vills to stone, or just buy the stone, go for a forward castle, and he's going to go imp. Okay, wait for it. I probably should actually show you things. I wanted to challenge myself. Okay, there's the stone. Yeah, so basically, he knows his opponent has the greater economy. His opponent invested into a castle. He wants to go for a castle here. Or here, or anywhere where he can trap this down and have a faster imp. I think what Valas did here was fine, but he needed to go for the gate. And if he goes for the gate, you never know where that castle ends up being. Maybe that castle's more defensive. Maybe it doesn't go up in the first place. Overall, I would say this has been a little sloppy by what could have happened from both players. Because the initial fight from Barles wasn't that good, but Barles with a very nice recovery. And obviously, Polish economy has certainly helped him here. Very nice work from Barles there. Gets that nice pick off. Okay, when are we going to see this monk's trying to get home? Or not home, he's trying to get to the monastery. He's going to die. When are we going to see the villagers come forward for this castle? And this works, too, because Barles has to still commit food to making units to kill the monks. He has to drop towers and consider fletching and a university for guard tower to stop the push. And before he knows it, as we have an amazing gate from Valas there, which saves both those monks' lives. Before he knows it, his opponent's going to be an imp. You're probably like, T90, there's no way imp is possible here. What are you talking about? Just wait. You just got to wait for it. Good save again here from Valas. He's just going to snag that relic. He acted like he was going to go in there. I think he realizes it's a risky place to be when there's a castle and there's a stable. Okay, Redemption's now on the way so we can convert enemy buildings and siege. But, I mean, it's super cheap, so I guess I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. Because you're not seeing siege from the opponent. He might be expecting siege in here, which is why he's getting it preemptively. He does not know his guard tower play, and he knows the light cover there, so he's avoiding them. Okay. So, I think the vills are going to come soon. It's coming. Great work from Barles to pick off the monks. Lycav that were converted are going to go in for the repair villager. This will make Barles panic. And he's taking losses as well. I don't think he ever expected... Like, I think once... He expected his opponent to see the tower and then back away. How is Valas able to still get 3 relics and still do so well here amongst all this? It's crazy. Barles struggling under pressure, has to get Loom, brings a Lycav back to deal with this. It doesn't look like these villagers were exactly working. Okay, where's the castle here? This is ridiculous. This is crazy. Is he going to try and convert the stable? No way. Okay, Lycav come out. I don't know what he was expecting to happen here. That monk has got some balls. Might actually convert the Lycav, though. And pathing certainly doesn't help Barles there. And an Obluk is going to be converted. And here comes the castle, right? Okay, he buys all the food. He's going to click imp. Oh, man, it's crazy. Now, this gets interesting. Barles is dropping a castle here. He wants to pressure the main base of Valas. Because he should know that there's going to be a castle here. Now, what he could try and do is he could try and cut off the vills. There's an opportunity for that, guys. Here he goes. Then there's going to be some spearmen out, so it won't kill all of them. But, you know, still, he sees it now. Just a question of how do you stop it? I think he goes petards from this castle, and we have a very interesting game. This game is going to be the best game from the series. If you didn't see the first two, they were solid, but Valas has just been on top of it today. Because you've got nothing at home if you're Valas. Nothing. And he also has no vision on this. I actually think what could give him vision on this is if he gets greedy and tries to go for this relic. There's the castle. Yeah, this is for Trebs. Oh, man. Okay, Lycav there. Look, he's sending a spear. Oh, this gets so fun. He knows something's up. He's sending a spear for the relic. He made an outpost. He sees the castle. That should tell him everything he needs to know. He sees the stable. He sees the castle. He needs to either panic a castle in his own base, or he needs a double layer of wall right now. Oh, boy. Okay, he's going to panic castle in his own base right now. Here come the petards. Ah! Valas, be careful. I mean, the Lycav are getting in. You just have to make sure your castle goes up. He's not looking here. Okay, he sees it. He's got a quick damage control with some quick walls. I think the Palisade Gate's a little ambitious. But he's trying to keep this army out. I mean, the Lycav could go this way. Palisade Gate bought time for a Stone Gate. Oh my god, that's so sick. Meanwhile, Mangonel's in Barles' eco? Okay. That thing killed 4 villagers, apparently. And the Lycav still run in? Or are they trapped here? They're actually trapped here. Wow, what a save. What a beautiful play from Valas there. Because the game could be over then. He's behind by 20 vills. If he loses 20 more, it could have been rough. Anyways, he can now focus on the push. He doesn't actually have the resources to even make a trip. There's so much focus here. And it's still like kind of an all-in castle age here from Barles, as he's going to try and petard in here now. And I don't think you expect that if you're Valas. The first one you kind of expect. This one you don't. But if he sees it, what do? Make another castle in your base? You stonewall everything. Still hasn't made a treb, guys. He can't treb push because he doesn't have the resources and the focus. Quick wall! Now, Barles just wants in, and he's going to see that the walls are going down, so he's going to try his very best here. That's a 1 HP wall. He doesn't realize it. They're going to be through. Oh, that's huge. That is huge. You've got Lycav attacking the market here, and Barles, even though there were some problematic situations, he didn't want to just lay down and die here, right? He didn't want to accept that this could be it. It for the series, but it for this game. And he has significantly delayed this push. Now, he's still just Castle Age, but what happens now is the pikemen that would be protecting the trebuchets on the front, they now have to come home to defend from this, meaning it gives Barles an opportunity. If he's thinking about it, he'll be looking for these trebs and looking to mass Lycav to kill them. This needs to be re-walled, which it will be. And these villagers need to be quick-walled in some capacity. Yeah, so crazy losses here. But this is because Barles has walled in the treb. What is this game? These guys are playing some high-level arena. Some beautiful moves from both players. Like, if that treb isn't walled in, that treb goes down. He doesn't have the army to protect it. Dang. So 40 villagers against 75, but we've got Burmese infantry. And Burmese infantry is incredibly strong against the cav that we're seeing. And that treb now can't be killed by any army. Well, it could be killed by Mangonel, actually, but... Okay, Barles also paying attention to this. He's like, oh, you want to come kill me? That's funny. I'm back in your base again. Good luck chasing me. Dang. Also, rams are coming this way from Barles, so he will now take out the monasteries. You know what you need right now, I think, if you're Valas? You need your next castle right next to the castle that you have. Did he clear up the Lycav? Finally. He's actually adding quite a few Erembai. Erembai have good base stats. They have 12 attack, so that combined with some pikes could be good. But you're behind in Vils, and you really need to pressure here. So I would like to see his next castle going up here. He might not want to do that until he has army to protect it, which would make sense, because then the Lycav could come in. Okay, so here he is. I also think Barles could consider maybe making some knights. But he doesn't really have the gold for it. Yeah, getting +2 armor is probably best. And oh my god, look at that. Mangonel for the treb. Mangonel for the freaky treb. Lycav and Olbuk need to go in after that. Treb's going to go down? Treb's going to go down. Wow. And the castle just barely stays up as well because of that. That was so good. Meanwhile, though, there is a treb here, guys. So this castle will go down for Barles. This castle still could go up for Valas, and he has another treb now, and Barles is still forever Castle Age. And it's just the fast imp pressure is so good for certain players. If Valas is one of the best at it. And now Barles is trying to think about what he can do, because he's going to lose control of this area. He's going to slowly lose control of this area. He needs to find a good fight. Yeah, and Valas shouldn't add any more monks, right? Because he's up against full Lycav. It's just pikemen and Erembai. But he really doesn't have a good eco. He's just barely able to afford the army he's working with right now. And now we have the rewalling from Valas to ensure that petard won't work again. So Barles is kind of forced to just deal with this, but he runs into double castle if he comes to engage against this. This is awesome. Who do you favor here, guys? Do you favor the guy with 89 villagers or the guy with 48? Pick one. Castle, I mean, double castle going down could permanently house Barles. Like, he really needs houses. He's going to try and switch into archers. Remember, he's Castle Age. And there's no going imp here because you can't wait for 1,000 food and 800 gold. You need stuff all the time. He's going to try and ram in to this base, prompting Valas now to make a mangonel. I think what he'll do is he'll add a couple more walls here to buy time, and then he's just going to have the mangonel, so he'll defend there. I'm feeling bad for Barles right now, because I don't know how he gets through. Actually, he could do it here. One petard could hit these walls, because these haven't been completed. And then 2 petards could go in there. It is actually doable. But he has to defend himself from Arambai. So he doesn't know that this was rewalled yet. He had 3 petards. Did he use one against the barracks? I think... Oh, no. I think he did. And we've got the gate. But does the gate go down to the petards? How's this work? Okay. Okay, Lightcav go in. Another gate from Valas? This is insane, dude. Oh, but now this gate's being attacked. Okay, gate goes down. Rams could still push then because the mangonel could go down. Okay. But the Arambai are into Barles' eco. And he's losing villagers everywhere. Oh, no. Oh, no. You almost need to take out this castle now to have a chance. You need to get the Lightcav into the economy. But as you're looking at that, you're losing everything at home. And look at the WELM stat. Worker efficiency last minute. Just keep an eye on that for Barles because it's not going to be pretty. That said, guys, he is bringing skirms. And the skirms could kill the Arambai. There's no siege here for Valas to kill that. The Rams backed away. They repositioned. Lightcav's coming in as well. The Arambai, maybe sensing this could be problematic. He probably just wants to take the TC out and then get out of here. Now, Arambai are good against clumped up units, so you don't want to clump up. And villagers now heading back to work. WELM just getting worse and worse and worse. It's worker efficiency last minute. And now Barles doesn't he has 1 TC and it's here. This game is amazing. Are the Arambai good enough on their own to finish off this game right here, right now? I don't think so, but I think if you back up to the castles, you can take good enough trades and you're completely fine. And Barles is still forever castle. Actually, the Arambai are insane. Never mind, I take it back. Oh, man. They do so much damage. Yeah, this might be where the GG's called, honestly. Barles won't want to do it because then he will have been 3-0'd here. And he's a really good player. And we knew that this could be a tight series because these guys are so similar. But what a great game from Valas. It was super interesting. And obviously some fantastic attempts from Barles. But he's not done. He's going to drop a castle here. He's like, yeah, good luck petarding me now, buddy. And Valas sees the castle. So he's bringing in the mango. But he also has weak walls here. So he needs to re-wall. Oh, no. Barles, no. I get the idea. But, oh, it's like everything he tries. Valas is ready, dude. Look at this economy. It's not pretty. Gonna have crossbowmen and skirmishers as the play for Barles. Castle just gets deleted. TC is getting rebuilt. Interesting, we actually have 0 relics collected for either player right now, which is very rare in Arena. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, you get real close to him. You get right up against it, and then bam. 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 There you go. That's a lot of bams. That's a lot of dead vills. That's 44 villagers that Valas has been able to kill in this game, and now the Trebs just come in. And yeah, since your opponent's in Castle Age, you just add mangonels for the ranged units. Honestly, like, besides that initial fight from Barles against the push when it was starting, I think he's had a really good game. We are just looking at an elite player right now. Hey guys, Valas will play the winner of Viper and Tato, which we'll be casting tomorrow. And those of you that see this individual game on YouTube, actually, I think the whole quarterfinal will probably be... I think I'm uploading the whole of every series to YouTube. But anyways, so Valas will face the winner of Viper Tato, which are obviously some very big names. I'm not kidding when I say that I think Valas could beat either of them. Remember, Viper, he had to have a reverse sweep to come back to win 3-2 against ACCM. ACCM isn't necessarily known for his arena. Viper is, I think, the best arena player. performs so good on Arena so consistently, even though he is not a quote-unquote clown. But, like, Valas just showed such diversity in his gameplay and what he can do and what he can come back from. And, like, the damage control in this game he made look so easy. I don't want to call it too early here, but, yeah, Barles is just dead. You cannot kill Mangonel Arambai unless you're an imp. And he is never going to make it to imp. Imagine having to place farms with pulls neatly around your full work in this type of game. It's not going to happen. It's going to look like my farms. So, have fun with that. People make jokes about that. Do you think Barles should have gone heavy on stone after the first castle? I think he only had 6 or 7. No, because at that time, he still felt like more castles doesn't help him because he's up against an opponent who's going to go in. In reality, what you want is you kind of need the earlier engagements to go a little bit better for you in the first place. The worst thing you can do against like a monk siege forward is lose your early light calf numbers. And not kill enough monks with it. Oh no, villagers, oh no! They have nowhere to go! Ah, who forgot to get bowsaw? They can't even chop their way to freedom. Come on! Wrong game to forget bowsaw. I mean, they might survive. Okay. Barles is chopping to the corner of the map. Villagers might actually end up getting the Treb as well. Oh, tack round from Barles. Okay. Treb goes down. Splits, though, from the Arambai. The Arambai is going to kill everything here. Wow. Oh, my God. Wait, what? Wait, what? Were there 2 of them? I remember there were 2 before. Hold on a second. I looked away. I wasn't looking at the Treb. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so there were 2 Trebs stacked perfectly on top of each other. And one goes down, and you almost didn't see it. And Barles probably thinks, is that a bug? What just happened there? But no, there was just 2 of them. All right. Well, here come the farms. He feels probably really frustrated with himself right now and is thinking about all the games and what he could have done differently. What happens when you get 3-0'd. And like you'll even go into some of these games and you're still thinking about the previous ones. You just know, again, I'm up against a good player. I needed to win with the cameos. You know, I'm up against a good player. I can't lose the light cap like that. You can't let that live too much in your mind, but that does creep in from time to time. Okay, here we go. The comeback. You can't break this guy. Valas's Black Forest experience, man, you can't break it. He's going to be able to gate wall it or defend it in some way. He's going to try one more time here. And we're going to see Valas with a boom now. He gets Horse Collar. So he's going to start to add some food eco again, because he hasn't had food eco in forever. Got 30 Arambai. Pretty ridiculous. And it's a good unit, man. Especially with what he needed. He needed units that really did a lot with very few of them, right? Because he didn't have a lot of economy. So having 5 Arambai is better than having 5 of most other units that he had accessible at that time. Plus, he had the castles. Oh, excuse me. Apologies for the yawn. Barles barely has any villagers remaining in his eco. Well, Valas probably feeling pretty good about himself right now. And he's going to slowly just start taking down these castles. So it's not like he's not doing anything. He's just kind of got to slowly push Barles down, giving Barles an opportunity for one last little hurrah, maybe. Well, the worker efficiency's been bad for Valas as well, right? Worker efficiency last minute's at 47. It's not like the eco in his base has really been that strong. But it's a composition thing, right? You're stuck on crossbow and skirm against Arambai. If you had Arbalest or you had imp upgrades, I think it'd be a different situation, but as we've seen, with the Arambai being so fast too, if they get in close to a bunch of ranged units, they will kill multiple units at once. And the micro from Valas is ridiculous. Like, look at that. He hasn't lost a Mangonel. He's killed 23 units with this Mangonel. With the 3 Mangonels, that is. Oh, look, a ram push. Oh, look, a Mangonel's waiting. Oh, look, the repairs are instant because Valas is insane. I don't know how many petards it takes to take out a siege workshop, though, honestly. This is a first for me. Okay, here we go. He's in. And hey, he gets through, baby. Let's go. Comeback time. 3 knights into the eco. I don't think it'll accomplish too much long term because Barles is still going to be losing his castles. But he plays on for a little bit longer here. Look at the minimap and look at the way this base, the way the map is situated right now. It's pretty funny. Also, the barren terrain where I guess the farms were for Barles, is that what that is? That looks kind of interesting. It's like 2 squares. Knights are still doing their thing. Aramby's come home. Or I guess this is a new Aramby from the castle that is at home. And he will eventually inaccurately deal with the knights, plus with the TC fire. Here's the engagement that Valas was hoping for. He took out the castle, and now Barles has to micro away from the siege. And he's trying, man. He knows his opponent hasn't had a big Vil lead on him. And he might even recognize the opponent doesn't have the relics, because the relics are still in the middle. But the problem now is Valas has had the lead, so he's able to get his food eco rolling. So Valas could actually soon consider making different types of units. And the different type of unit you could see from him would be stable units. So he could just go for, like, light cav. You kind of need to have castles. You kind of need to have your base to have success. If you don't have your base, you need to make sure that your opponent is losing something in their base. And Valas is just doing such a good job of making sure he doesn't take losses at his base. I mean, the pop is 102 to 112. Right? The army counts are similar. Like, if we just looked at this, would you say the game is over? Probably not. From what we can see, we feel like there's no way back for Barles. But remember, it's his last game of this series if he loses. He wants to make sure that he tries every single scenario. And maybe he thinks he can get a really good fight against the Aramby because he's got skirms. Like, now the siege is out of the picture, so he's thinking, best fight I could take, right? Nope. Aramby's still stupid strong. Trebs are going to move forward. And I would say stables aren't really needed here for Valas. He could just boom. But if he wanted to go for different units, okay, there's the stables. And you could go for knights, actually. You wouldn't have to go for just light cav. It's more common. Like, people usually have a gold unit in combination with a unit that doesn't cost gold, so a trash unit. So it would make sense. Aramby's your gold unit, and then light cav is good enough for everything else, but it does not have to be that way. Good micro again from Barles. Valas just going to back up. Still has not been broken here. Valas has pretty good vision to know that there's a TC here, so he could focus on that. He's got a Treb coming now. And he's just going to back away, wait for the cav switch, and the cav switch is going to finish off this one. Valas should build a wonder now. Nah, these guys have great respect for each other. You don't want to flex on your teammate. Actually, maybe. I guess it depends on the team. If you know someone really well, you might feel like you could do that. It might be more disrespectful if you don't know the guy. I mean, they all know each other in our scene, but you know what I mean. Like, if I was playing up against Dave, I would 100% wonder drop him. If I'm playing against Nilly, I wouldn't do it because Nilly would... I think he would take that to heart too much. And again, Dave and I would never be playing each other in a tournament, but you know what I mean. Depends on the individuals. So, patience from Valas as he just waits for the mass. He doesn't want to overextend it all. TC goes down for Barles soon in a moment. Barles adding a TC here. Barles also clearing this up, denying the TC from Valas, and coming back to his base. He's like, oh, man, it's good to be home. We've been away for so long. Okay. There's the light cav. And this is what you really don't have an answer to because you don't have gold right now if you're Barles. So funnily enough, he is getting the relics in the middle. He's really trying, man. He's going to raid here too. He's really doing a good job at getting value from a crappy position. But it's imp armor. And you're just not going to be doing enough damage to these light cav now once that upgrade's in. Could go Hussar, but I think more than anything, you just simply want numbers if you're Valas. And this game is over. But what a great game from Valas. He made it look really easy. I think even in this tournament, even with the players remaining in this tournament, there might only be one that could play damage control as good as he did when the Petards came and the Rams came and everything came towards his face. And that one would probably be Viper, right? Like, he did such a sick job. I guess it wasn't flawless, but still, I was really impressed with that. Trebs here just waiting for their chance to take out the TC, and Light Cav are going to go in there to raid. Just needs to make sure that he locks down this position first, which he obviously has. Trebs are now firing. Barles is going to see this and do his best to try and take out the Trebs, but he only has 2 Light Cav here. So Val is just on top of it, man. Like, it just casually repairs. No problem. All right. Actually, well, probably should repair with more, but he's still looking here. And okay, now it's 105 territory, Barles. Now it's probably time to tap out. And he does. GG. Barles wishes him the best of luck. That was a great series from Valas, man. A bit disappointing in terms of the competitiveness. We wanted a little bit more back and forth here. But that was still... That series delivered greatly. I think... I liked the decision from Barles to try and raid the eco from Valas. I wonder if he could have done it a little bit earlier. I guess the main problem was he needed Petards for it. But like, okay, here. The castle's going up. Well, no, it seems like a pretty decent time. He's just going to make the Petards from the front. I was thinking maybe he could have made the Petards earlier, but then Petards are slow. Honestly, Valas' game sense is sick here, right? So he knows his opponent has light cap, but he doesn't really know how many. He's going to have his castle up. So you have to think, okay, my weakness is everywhere else. And I'm going to be focusing primarily on the Treb push. My opponent's likely has more villagers, which means they're not imping yet. That's kind of the whole point. And while they will have farms from the poles, it'd be too risky for him to go imp. So he's likely going to go all in some capacity. Where am I vulnerable? And so he thinks about it, and he adds an outpost. And like, I don't know if he's checking this area to look for a base. I honestly think he's thinking about the relic. But he sees this. And this is the most important period of the game. Because this tells him, with his experience, that it will be Petards. Right? He just knows. And the fact that he didn't lose like 20, 30 villagers immediately after noticing this was insane. Now, actually, he didn't know it was Petards. I think he saw the Petards. Yeah, he knew he needed a castle. And he's like, okay, I'm fine. We're going to have time because he won't be able to break through my walls. And he sees the Petards now. Like, right here. It's like, oh, crap. And then he has to go through everything. And that's 10 light cav. And I mean, the castle could be denied. The vills could be dead. And this game is over. Like, he would not be able to make Arambai and many pikes in the long term if he loses these vills here. And then Barles just rams this down. And even if the pikemen are trading kind of poorly, he could just mix an old book from the castle because he'd still have that. And he would just overwhelm the map with economy. At this stage of the game, Barles had 2,000 more resources collected. At this stage of the game, he had 5k more resources collected. At this stage of the game, he had 6k more resources collected. And obviously, it eventually... I mean, it's still all Barles with the food and wood. But then it starts to change. Ever so slightly, actually. But it starts to change just because of the value in the fights that Valas was taking. And Valas was getting deep into that eco. So, wow, that was really good. 2 to 1 KD. So good from Valas. Excited to see him up against Tato or Viper.